getting where I can kind of tell when it's going to pop over to going live. Hi, my name is Gary. We're going to do some baritone ukulele lessons here today, and you should come join us. The resources are available at jollyrogerukulele.com, and you should swing by there, find out all of the cool free stuff that we are doing, and I'm going to post a link on that right now so that everybody who wants to take baritone ukulele lessons will know where to go and they will come join us. You're probably watching the recording of this, and if you are, you should know it's 2:02, so the class will actually start in 3 minutes. And so if you want to fast forward, perfectly cool with me. I'm not going to say anything compelling or interesting for 3 minutes anyway. And let me grab this and see if the link is working correctly. Of course, after the 3 minutes, every single word out of my mouth will be like pearls of wisdom, right? All right, so we're all set up. We should be seeing a rush of people coming in here momentarily to join us for, well, I don't even know. I think it's baritone lesson number 8 or something like that. And today our song is Brahms' Lullabye. And yesterday's class got broken in half, so we're going to take a minute to review some of the key of C stuff because it was a tragedy what happened yesterday. Tragedy, I'm telling you, tragedy. What happened yesterday. Let's see. Carol. Well, I don't know if I've ever met Cozy. I don't think so, right? It's exciting that she got you started. That's it is. We all have this funny story about what leads us. And the challenge with sharing instruments with people, you're like, oh, I'm so excited about ukulele. I'm going to get so-and-so started. And sometimes they're like, yeah, whatever. And it sort of makes you sad. Other times they're like you and you're like, this is cool. I'm taking off. I'm going to take this and run. So that's exciting. Cozy, we're talking about you. So that's exciting, I think, Carol. You have somebody get you started, and it's just sort of like passing the torch onto the next person. And it's been fun for me over the years, right? When I started, whoops, sorry, I just destroyed your speakers at your house. I'm trying not to bump into that microphone. When I started back in the day, I ended up with a ukulele from a antique store, and there were no books really. Jim Boloff had a couple books out at that point, but there were certainly none just generally available in Denver, and certainly no ukuleles were around. And what helped me get started was Jim Venice had just started a week. I think it was the month before I bought my ukulele and found the Denver ukulele community. He had started that group down at Swallow Hill, and I went down there, and Jim was tuned up my ukulele, and he just gave me a little bit of encouragement, and I've been messing with it ever since. And Jim's a very fine player. He's still around here in the Denver area. I don't see him often, but he's an excellent musician. And it just took one guy like that to kind of get me started, and then after that, I had a ton of piano background, so I got it. I understood what this thing can do, and it just took unfortunately there was no education, and the websites weren't up and running yet, and YouTube wasn't a thing yet, and so it was a slow uptake to get this thing. And these days it's very nice. I mean, there's so much good material available, and so many different ways to think about ukulele, and different people who are taking it seriously. And so it's just still delightful that one guy got me going, and then I got a few people going, and then Cozy got you going. And so it's just kind of it's very very sometimes in life we feel like there's scarcity, like you have to get yours before somebody else gets it. And then music is just the opposite. The more that you can possibly give it away, the more you can share it, the more, you know, the more you can get people involved. I think the more you get back. And the one thing I do notice, and I get a little probably talk about this more than I should, but in standard traditional music, what they want you to be is a paying audience member, because they have gone out and they have a system in place that's designed to find the very best guy. So if you're if you give a little kid a violin and they play, and then they go to middle school, well, they better be a pretty good player, because we got to get rid of the ones that aren't any good, and we'll just keep the best ones of those. And then they go to high school and we get rid of some more violin players, and we get just the best of those. Then we send you to college and we get rid of a bunch of those violin players until we got about 5 that are pretty good. And then we go into the low level professional orchestras, and then, you know, one of those guys is really, really good, so we push him up to the high level orchestra, and he's really, really good, and we get rid of a couple more violin players, and finally you're the principal violinist for the New York Philharmonic, right? Then you made it. And through that process, all these little elementary school violin players are now audience members. They love violin. That just didn't work out for them, and they get to sit in the audience. And well, I don't like that system. I want you to get a ukulele, and I want you to get 12 other people play, and I want all of us to play together. And I don't ever want to lose anybody along the way. And so I feel like this instrument allows us to share as a community and not have to have that elitism program. I'm not entirely against that elitism, because it does find the best violin player. And I want to know who that is, right? I want to know that guy. We already know who our best ukulele player is Jake, right? And then there's about 4 others that are really good. But for the most part, we're all sort of just hammering around here together. I think a little bit on purpose, by design. This instrument is not meant to be listened to. It's meant to be done. And so, you know, when ukulele festival rolls around, they bring in these guys and they give you concerts and stuff. It's all very comfortable, right? But that's not what we do in ukulele. I love James Hill. I really love him, right? But I don't necessarily know if I need to listen to him. You know, I want to play. And, you know, I think that that's different with this instrument than other instruments. And so I think that's okay, right? We don't need to have the same program that other instruments have. They have a great program. They're finding the guy who's in the New York Philharmonic. They found that guy, and so or girl, and we have a different program going on. All right, let me say hi to everybody, and then let's get started. That's me just pontificating, huh? Standing on a soapbox in the middle of a park. Let's see. Vic is in. It is a great instrument, right? Almost as beautiful as that instrument, not quite, but pretty close, and much easier to play than that instrument. That instrument's kind of hard. All right, nice. Vic is in. She was in the last class and was here yesterday. Yeah, I've seen Cozy a few times, right? And she's here now, so we're gonna keep it. We're gonna stop talking bad about her. But I don't think Cozy, we've never met face to face, right? I don't think I remember that. I don't think I know that. I don't think we have. Ain't baritone fun? Ain't baritone. Nice job, Jack. Good to see you. Cozy, we've been talking about you. Diane, another great day. It's a beautiful day here in Denver, by the way. I hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are. Michelina is in. She is committed to baritone. Terry lives. I couldn't see his house from here, so I'm glad you're here, Terry. Thanks, Carol. We wish you could play together soon. I know, right? That's the biggest bummer right now. You can't weigh whether you want to get together with people or not, and I don't know. I just don't want to get this thing, so I'm just not hanging out with anybody, which is really it's hard when that's what you do for a living, is hang out with people. All right. Let's see. Let's move to Denver when the pandemic is over and meet all these nice people. I know, right? We'll have to have a class reunion or something. Valerie. Too many classes in one day. Yeah, I think Valerie's been doing harmonica and ukulele, more ukulele, and you come here and you're just like, I don't know, it feels comfy being here. But the problem with baritone is you guys were off by 5 steps, right? And it just sort of makes your head float a little bit. Well, I know Vic and Michelina are the rock stars here. We should, right? Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, Willie K, right? Yeah, he's pretty decent. Hey Ray, welcome in. Cozy. Let's see. No, no. Okay, so um, let's talk about yesterday. We got bombed out in the middle, right? So we didn't. So some of you were like, "Well, whatever, I'm done," um, and that's okay. Just know that with um, our YouTube sessions, if we're most of the way through and you're like, that's good enough, I'll see you later. I'm okay with that. Sometimes I'll get to the end and for one reason or another, the internet connection goes bad. If I still feel like I got plenty of stuff to say and plenty of time to say it, I'll go ahead and post a new link and we will start afresh. As we did yesterday, it looked like none of you got any of the Waltzing Matilda. I'd sang. Here's what happened when as soon as the internet connection died, I did not know that. And so I played what I believe was the world's first perfect version of Waltzing Matilda. My singing voice was suddenly magical. My chords, I couldn't miss them. And then it turns out none of that was recorded and none of you could hear it. And it's really disappointing. So then when we came back, I rebooted. We did finish it up. So if you want to go check out the second version is filled with mistakes. And all of a sudden I couldn't sing. I think I was just stressed out about not being able to share with you the perfect version of Waltzing Matilda. So what you got was a less than perfect version. But the moral of the story is sometimes YouTube fails. I will often, if it's fairly early in the class, I will go ahead and try a reboot. What it entails is me shutting down the computer, restarting, and hoping for the best. So it takes a little while for that link to repost. But it's also perfectly fine for you to be like, I don't know, the internet does not want me to learn how to play baritone ukulele today. I'm going to go mow the grass, and so that's fine too. And of course, I don't ever watch my own recordings, so I don't know exactly what that experience is like. Some people seem to think it's okay. Others of you are like, no, I really want to be in the live session, and I want you to do whatever makes the most sense for you. Learning to play a musical instrument at a high level is a pretty challenging activity, and hopefully, just what I'm doing here is giving you some motivation to keep it up and to keep trying. And some stuff will make sense and some of it doesn't, and sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not, and we'll just keep moving forward and find whatever path makes the most sense for you to get good at this. The path I want to take today is, if we have time to go back and take a look at those strummers, we will, but I really want to dig into Brahms' Lullabye. So let's pull that up. And let's talk about the beauty of this piece. This piece is a perfect piece of music. It's 3 chords, the 3 chords that make sense. There are no accidentals. There are no sharps. There are no flats. There are no nothing in here. Everything makes perfect sense. Well, technically your Fs are sharp, but that's the key signature. So while there are sharps in here, you don't see them. And it just, the melody is beautiful. The whole thing works. The chord sitting underneath the melody is beautiful. Can't talk highly enough about Brahms, right? He's okay. And so let's take a look at the chords. Make sure you're comfy with your chords. Okay, you get a G chord, right? That's a nice place to start. Okay, you're then going to go to a D7. When you're changing chords, especially in the beginning, learning to change your chords is a lot, okay? So you're going to take your index finger here and then pull these 2 down here. When you start, I want you to always make a full C chord, or make the full chord. We're in the process of learning to get our fingers to move without us thinking about it. So when you're in a G chord and it's time to go to D7, in the beginning you're like, all right, D7. Index goes here, middle goes here, ring goes here. Now I'm ready to play. Okay, but what we want is for your brain to do that so many times, so perfectly every time, that it's just where you're not really thinking about it anymore because your fingers have already been fully acclimated to this new environment. And you're hanging out in G, slide this back, this is going on, goes on to the G, D7, and back. Okay, other chord we're going to be playing in this song, down there, measure 8, we're going to come in from a G chord, and we're going to go get that G, the C chord. Your index finger is going to hit here, middle finger's up here. Okay, play that for a few beats, 3 beats, and then we go back to G, back to D7, back to G, back to C, back to G, back to D7, and back to G. Now, if you did not know what song we were playing, if we weren't playing any melody, that would sound like any folk song ever written. If I go from measure 9, just listen for a second to the chord structure. Let me start from measure 9. No, let's not start from. Let's start from measure 8. Sounds like every single folk song ever written, right? It just has that folk feeling to it. But you're dealing with one of the high-level composers of all time, and he knows that works. He knows that that's going to make sense, and so he's giving you a very easy to get along with chord structure. Your job as a new baritone player, make sure your G chord is just who you are. Okay, make sure that D7 is starting to come along, and then of course C chord, which we spent some time on yesterday, is also there. Okay, now that's the chords. Let's play some melody. Okay, and again, I can't emphasize enough how important melody is. The baritone melody line here. You're going to play some 1s, you're going to play some 2s, you're going to play some 3s. You're not going to play anything else. So you want to just have these guys ready. Now all you have to do is hit the right string in the right measure, right fret, and then pluck the right string. Have you ever been perfectly in shape and hit the wrong string? I've done it before. It doesn't sound that great. And so we're going to be working on getting you better. For now, probably thumb, just playing with your thumb is fine. Long term, I'd like you to be playing with all these fingers, index, middle, ring, and thumb, right? And so we have plenty of exercises going forward where we're going to be messing around with getting your right hand smarter. Okay, but for when you're playing straight melody, I find just using my thumb is going to get me a really nice, round, beautiful, solid tone, and so I do it a lot. Okay, let's play the baritone melody line. We'll take it nice and slow. We'll see how you're doing on that. 1, 2, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 3, 0, 3, 3, 2, 0, 0, 3, 2, 0, 1, 2, 2, 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 0, 3, 2, 3, 0, 0, 3, 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. Let's play it again. 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3, 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0, 1, 2, 2, 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 0, 3, 2, 3, 0, 3, 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 0, 3, Now remember, if we haven't talked about it before, we need to talk about it. Repeats. This song, you start at measure 0, play all the way down through 16. At measure 16, you probably want to put a little piece of yellow highlighter or whatever color highlighter you got at the beginning of measure 16, because when you come around the first time, you have to make a decision. Is this the first time? Yes, it is. I will play measure 16. Notice the 1 in the bracket above it. If it's the second time through, you don't want to play measure 16. It's for the first repeat. So you get to the end of 15, you hit your highlighter, you're like, oh, this is the second time through. I'm not going to play measure 16. I play measure 17. Okay. The other place to put a piece of highlighter is up at measure 1, where you've got your forward repeat bar going that direction. You want to make sure that your eyeball tracks to the right spot, and a little bit of highlighter on there will make a major difference. Okay, so now we have the melody. We know the melody. We've talked about the chords. I'd like to do what we do on Monday nights is we divide things up. So one time, first time through, I'm going to play the melody both times through. Okay, but the first time through, I want you to play chords. Okay, I want you to play chords with my melody playing. I'm going to keep the melody nice and steady. You're going to give me 3 beats of G, then 3 more beats of G, then 3 more beats of G, and then 3 beats of D7 and 3 beats of the D7. So you're going to be strumming 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I want your chords on when I get there with the melody. Go through the first time. If it goes well for you, then switch to melody and play along with me for the melody for the second time. If it goes poorly for you, then take a second time to do more chords. Okay? So we're going to be playing a duet. I can't hear you, so I'm going to assume you play perfectly. Play chords for me. Let's see. Oh, we have a troll. Sorry, guys. Hold on. There. All right. So poor Davey. Poor Davey goes away. All right. So we get trolls. Trolling ukulele lessons. Weird. All right. I don't know what they're doing. I'm playing melody, you're playing chords. If you play chords well the first time, switch to melody and play with me the second time. If you play horribly, play chords one more time. 1, 2. All right. Thoughts? How'd we do? Hopefully, as you're playing through your chords, you're basically hitting them about right when I'm getting to the first beat of the measure, you're switching and having your first beat of the chord happen at that exact same time. A lot of times when we're first starting and you get to a complicated chord, like maybe you're struggling with getting D7 on, by the time you get it on, the music has already moved on past you, right? And so that's something to know, and something to know it will go away the more you spend time around music and playing. Eventually that doesn't happen anymore, but at least initially it's kind of a challenge. let's see, what else do I want to tell you about? I like the idea, if you can, for you to get together with somebody else. One person's playing melody and person's playing chords. I just think it's going to make you a better player overall. And so it's important to be mindful. Hey, I'm playing chords, you're playing melody, I'm playing melody, you're playing chords, and to switch back and forth, right? We got to get good at both, and so having that happen is important. Let's see, and guys aren't giving me any feedback, so I'm assuming everything is going perfect. Who knows? Am I even plugged in? Hopefully, I am. All right, last piece of it. Study is, of course, as always, tough uke. Okay, so let's spend a minute doing that. First thing we're going to do is play a couple zeros. And then you got 0, 0, 3. So, okay, and your thumb drops down here, just like that. Okay, then you're going to do it again. Measure 2. And then you got 0, 3. You're going to drop down to the 3 and a big strum here. 2, 0. You have 1 and 2. So that's a partial D7. You're not going to put anything on this bottom string. And your ring finger is going to go up on this 3. Okay, and then you're going to go to 2, 0. So you have to lift up your index finger, play 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 0, little strum. All right, cozy, have a great day. Then 2, 1, full D7 at measure 7. Lose your ring finger. Grab the 2, and then 0, 0, 3. Hit the 2 zeros. Here's the tough one, measure 9. You're going to make your C chord, add your pinky on the 3. Okay, you can do your ring finger, but it's a lot harder. Okay, so just put your pinky out there, it'll be much easier. Do that. Okay, C chord, pinky. 01, 003, 00, partial G7, D7. Hit the 3, hit the 0, and 003. A couple more zeros. F C chord with your pinky on top. 01, 003, 00, partial D7. Hit the 0, hit the 2, and 2 zeros. Okay, it sounds nice on baritone. So let's put the baby to bed. Okay, from the top, we're going to go down, play through 16, then we're going to go right back up and we're going to play it again. What you will notice that I'm going to do, the first time through, I'm going to do thumbs just like I'm coaching you guys to do. And then the second time through, I'm going to pick the thing. I'm going to switch from my thumb strum to a claw picking, which is quite a bit more challenging, but also gives you an opportunity to have a different texture to the music that you're teaching. And it'll end up sounding different. Maybe not better, maybe better, maybe worse, but different. And then as a musician, you get to decide, hey, I've played this every possible way. I think it sounds best playing it this way. And then you play it that way. Okay. So first time through, I'm going to do my thumb. Second time through, I'm going to do my claw. You should do whatever makes sense for you to survive. If tough uke is a little too tough right now, play the melody. Okay. From the top. 1, 2. Okay. Diane says she's lost her connection. I'm still showing 11 of you tuned in, so I'm going to hope that that's true. And we're going to discuss briefly what I'm hoping if the connection is gone. Let's see. Oh, Diane is back. Okay, good. Good here so far. Okay. Diane's, I think I don't know what happens in the afternoon. Apparently, we get a rush of other users or something, or somehow the internet gets full. I don't know. We're going to keep going. Appears that I'm still online. So the nice part about that on baritone is, man, it just sounds so whole and complete, and you can just play through it so beautifully and so slowly, and just take your time and really turn it into something. If you play with your thumb, if you play with your fingers, you're plucking. Terry's here, Tanya's here, Vic is here. Okay, so we're all good. All right, so Diane just had a momentary lapse. Okay, good. That's the one thing I have no control over, and that's the one thing that drives me bananas, right? I'm okay with things not going well if I'm in control, but when things go poorly and I'm not in control, oh my God. Brahms Lullabye. Nice, right? So what I would do, this piece of music allows you to play in our 4 principal ways, okay? One way, chords. Lullaby and good night. With roses be dyed, dum da da dum, da 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 dum dum dum. You don't even have to sing the words. You can just get it close, kind of nonsense, talk it your way through. Gives you a chance to practice your chords. That's way number 1. Okay, that's the way most ukulele players. That's the only way they know how to play. Way number 2. Play just the straight melody. That's what we do in orchestra. So when we get a bunch of people together, a whole bunch of them have to play just the melody line. That's all they do, right? And so you getting good and fast where you can kind of do that in your sleep, that becomes important, especially down the road when you decide, me and my friend, we're going to start a band, right? And we're going to play whatever. Somebody's got to be the lead guitarist. You'll be the lead baritonist. And Cindy had a hiccup as well. Interesting. Hopefully you're still seeing me, Cindy. I'll probably come back for Cindy. Okay. We are so playing melody is incredibly important, especially for ensemble use. Okay. Third way, which is the duet way. One of you plays chords, one of you plays melody. Then you often will switch sides so that each of you has a chance to experience that. Cindy, let me know when you come back. And getting this type of thing going on is such an important thing for you as a musician. That will make you faster and better than anything. It's why you show up here. You're playing with me as a duet. So most of the time we're playing exactly the same part together at the same time. That part is less important, what part we play, than the fact that you're getting comfortable playing with somebody else. And then the last way, the fourth way, is tough you, which is you as a soloist. It's you down at the coffee shop, your baritone latte. I'm going to go play Brahms Lullabye, right? And it's all you. You're in charge of the chords, you're in charge of the melody, you're in charge of the tonality of the instrument, you're in charge of your attack pattern with your right hand, you're in charge of whether you're plugged in, you're in charge of getting rid of, signing all those autographs for your fans afterwards, all of that stuff. No, I am. Okay, so she's back. She's back now. Now she's back. Okay. What we did, Cindy, is we took the internet and we squished it and we filled it all up with really smart thoughts, and then we let it go, and all these brilliant thoughts are coming out all at once, right into your head. Looks like we had I wonder if it's a local Denver hiccup, because it affected Diane and affected Cindy. It is what it is, right? We're going to keep going. So I would say get solid on this piece of music. We're going to play it again on Friday. Okay. We're going to play it again on Friday. So make sure that you're getting comfy with it. Let me tell you about Friday so that this will be our second Friday concert, right? So this Friday, go down and check your resources. But the first thing we'll do is our Better Bar worksheet, which is, bum, 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 bum. Okay, that's your Better Bar worksheet. We'll do that every single Friday. Now, again, we're working on getting your baritone, your bar chord finger strong, and that's really about getting this part of your hand strong. And that's why I would recommend you warm up with that every day when you play baritone. You probably won't because it's boring, but every Friday we will, because I'm going to set a good example. We're going to play Three Blind Mice. We're going to play a bunch of the stuff on the key of strumming page. We'll play Brahms Lullabye, and then tomorrow and Friday we will also be playing Yankee Doodle. So you've got what I would consider to be this week. Last week was the foundation of playing a musical instrument. This week we're really taking those pieces and parts and putting them together into a more comprehensive package. So the Three Blind Mice, just like with Spaghetti Monster, is designed to get you playing chord and melody together. Brahms Lullabye, we start switching the chords. You got 3 chords you have to deal with in addition to playing the chord melody. And Yankee Doodle will be the same thing. We have 3 chords, and we're going to be putting those together. And you actually, in that one, you're also going to be putting in a bar chord in the middle of all the other chord changing. So Yankee Doodle ends up getting fairly complex fairly quickly. The nice part is if you guys are practicing and kind of sticking with it just a little bit, all of this basic stuff, which is not easy, becomes easier as we add in the next thing, right? So this week we're adding in Brahms Lullabye. That's a pretty legit piece of music, and all of a sudden Spaghetti Monster doesn't seem like quite as big of a challenge as you thought it was last week. This week we're adding in C, A minor, F, and G, and all of a sudden the A, D, and E7 don't seem quite so challenging. So hopefully, just as you continue to show up, we'll be building those skills. All of the skills I have to teach you, it's the one where you don't stop. That's the hardest one. So if you're playing along and you mess up, you don't care. You just keep going. That, I think, for a lot of people, especially a lot of you guys are smart, you had meaningful careers, you're maybe retiring, or you're maybe just locked in the house and you're like, I need 45 minutes a day to go do something different. You've been very successful in your career due to your detail-orientedness, and you're willing to correct mistakes and all of this stuff. You come to music, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, if you make a mistake, you better not worry about it because it's going to just mess up your future. So just let it go. That's not a common thought. The only place that I know that you get that thought is on the golf course, which is, well, you blew that one. No chance to fix it. Don't let it mess up your next shot. Go find your ball. That is another place where you get that same thought of, you better keep going. Last shot's in the past. And music is the same sort of thing, where just letting your mistakes be mistakes and letting them be in the past. That's such an important thing. And I think that's why you show up to here, right? That's why you show up to play with me right now. Eventually, you'll have your own group. You'll be touring the world. You will be that South. I think they're South Korean. The BTS, I think they're the boy band that's all popular right now. You're going to be pushing them off the stage in order to play your baritone, and so we want to get you where you're just feeling really comfortable with making a whole lot of mistakes and letting them be in the past. All right, I want to take just a minute. Let's pull up yesterday's Key of C strummers. Let's give you just a couple of more. Since Waltzing Matilda got beat up, and some of you were able to stick with me and some of you weren't, let's go take a look at the couple of the shorter ones, just to have you something else to mess with before Friday. Go to page 2 on that Key of C strummers, and you'll see this little light of mine way down at the bottom. Okay. Again, the reason that I give you this type of sheet music, I no longer think that this is an effective way for you to be spending your time as a ukulele player, but every single other person on this planet does. And so what happens with this type of music, they give you the chords, they give you the lyrics, you got to know somehow you got to know the melody. And that's why you see over and over and over these same kind of songs show up over and over again when these strum along groups, because if nobody knows the melody, it's just noise. And so somebody has to be able to run the group. And so they end up picking songs they know. And so I know three of This Little Light of Mine. I know You Are My Sunshine. So I can give those to you because I can lead you on that. But this type of music is really great if you get a whole bunch of other players together, a violin player and a guitar player and a ukulele player and a banjo player. Everybody knows their chords and everybody sings and everybody has a good time. But the purpose of that is to go get lunch. That's the real purpose of this type of music. It's fun and blah, but it's not high level. It's not running this as an instrument. And so while it's important you know how to do this stuff, because you will end up hanging out with other people eventually, even if you don't now, and you want to be able to play from this stuff, it's really not the thing that I think will do your best work putting your energy into this, learning every single chord. I don't know every single chord, and I've been doing chords for 20 years now. So it's that goal in and of itself isn't necessarily a good one. Being able to strum and sing is fun. Okay. But we're going to go to the next level where you take this instrument, shut your face, and turn this into something really beautiful. So let's run through This Little Light of Mine. Make sure that you're feeling comfortable with the chords. C chord again. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. You got your B flat on ukulele or F on baritone. Okay. You're not going to like this in the beginning. It's your E chord, slide it up, add a bar on underneath it. And we talked yesterday, you can do a full bar or a partial bar. I'm fine either way. Okay. Better full bar. Partial bar is okay. This little light of mine. And then go back to the C chord. I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine. Let it, F chord, shine. Let it, G7, shine. Let it, C chord, shine. Let's play it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Go to your F chord. This little light of mine. Back to your C chord. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And to F. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Okay, now notice I'm plucking all 4 strings. I think this is going to be extremely important for you down the road to start getting your right hand under control just by doing this type of thing. Okay, it allows you to run all 4 of your fingers independently of one another, sort of. You notice I'm not doing anything with my elbow. Nothing's going on down there. It's all in my wrist and mostly in my knuckles. Just collapsing my knuckles. Okay, that's one strum pattern. Next strum pattern, we'll do thumb down. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Okay, that's the second main strum, was just your thumb. Okay, now let's do this other strum, which is your index finger. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. A lot more energy, a lot more excited. Same exact pace. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. different main ideas with strumming, and then everything else that we do strum pattern wise comes from those two main ideas. This thumb down is the main powerful tool that we're going to be using for tough acts a lot, to get beautiful glissando feelings. Okay, there's this down or this, right? We're going to be using this to get beautiful tones out of the instrument. We're going to be using the claw pattern to get your chord level complexity to go from up to much, much, much fancier chording. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So we'll take that claw shape, and then we'll start getting all these guys independent. Next thing, this down up business. If you read on the internet, there's all this long discussions about down up. It's all a waste of your time. So please know that you don't need to know any of that. Your job will be to find the best possible strum pattern for you, for whatever song you happen to be on. There are no correct strum patterns. If you get together with a group of people and they all want to play it in exactly the same way, then that strum pattern is important. But you as a soloist, or you hanging out at your house, or even you going to the large group meetings, you can strum any way you want. There's no rule about that. Okay. Big takeaway from this piece of paper is, and you got to have C chord memorized. Okay. You got to have A minor chord memorized. Okay. You got to be able to get your F chord on in a reasonable amount of time, and you're going to be working toward getting it clean. And until then, you're going to be perfectly fine with that. Okay. And then G7. Back to C. Okay. So those are your goals with strumming. On Friday, we will probably play Danny Boy, You Are My Sunshine, maybe Waltzing Matilda if we have time. And then we will also play all of our other ones, be working on the multiple levels of these songs. So the chords, play the chord through the chords, make sure those are going well for you. Go through and play the melodies. That's to my mind, that's it. That's the most important thing. And then, because that tells you what song you're just playing, right? And then you can shut up and let the ukulele tell people what song you're singing. And then finally, putting the two together in tough uke, and be patient with yourself. This is not easy stuff. There's a reason why nobody teaches this. Okay, people don't teach this because it's too hard. And so what baritone players end up being is the chord guy hanging out in the back of the room doing this, and then the other instruments are doing all the cool stuff. And that's not what we want, right? You've got a great instrument. You should be able to do both. You should be setting the tone. Yeah, I'm going to play chords on this one. It'll sound great. You guys play the melody. Or, hey, you guys play the chords. I'm going to play the melody. Okay. And finally, ultimately, I don't need any of you people. I'll play everything myself. So there's that. That's tough uke. Okay. Questions, comments, and concern. It looks like 11 of us made it through the end. So hopefully the internet issues sort of more or less resolved itself. I can tell that what I'm saying now is taking almost 30 seconds or more to get to you guys and come back. So I'll be a little patient here while I sit and see if anybody has any questions or concerns. You got a lot of in my mind, the first week and the second week of this program are so wonderful, because if you'll take them seriously and you'll really put these ideas and thoughts and tools into action, the rest of the time it's just more of the same. And the first week we introduce you into chord melody playing, and the second week we start to just really get it settled in. Baritone is like a small guitar. It is like a small guitar. The funny thing about guitar, and if you watch most guitar players play it, is it really is two separate instruments simultaneously. There's the instrument that you do all the melody notes, and all of the main part of the song are on strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the second part of the guitar, strings, string 4 duplicates, 4, 5, and 6, that's really a bass. And so when you watch even highly trained classical players, a lot of the main stuff they're doing is on those first 3 or 4 strings. And then a lot of the accompaniment, the filling out the rest of the song, is happening on strings 4, 5, and 6. And so what baritone does is just gets rid of the bass. Like, let somebody else, that's the bass player's job. let's focus in on what's really awesome about guitar, which is chords and melody. And you don't have to, and it's just a billion times easier to hold and much easier to play long term. Now, nothing's easy in the beginning, as you guys have figured out. Getting yourself where you feel really confident and comfortable with this thing, it's going to take a while, but I think you will, and I do think at the end of your days as a baritone player, you'll probably stick with baritone because there's just not a ton of reasons to switch over to guitar. Whereas what happens with guitar, because it's so hard, so many people get so far and then they're like, it's just too much. And then they just stop. And rather than coming to baritone, they just don't do anything. And I hope that never happens with you. So let's see. Anything else here? Terry says, no questions. Working on going back and forth between ukulele brain and baritone brain, guitar brain. Yeah, that's going to be a problem, guys. Those of you guys that are pretty heavy into ukulele, switching to baritone there is a time, and when I first started teaching, and I knew I loved baritone and I knew I wanted to teach it, I struggled quite a bit. Even now, it's pretty normal for me to be grabbing when it says C chord, for me to go grab a ukulele C chord instead of a baritone C chord. So it's a new skill you're probably building, Terry, and I had to build it. And I think getting your brain, baritone brain, ukulele brain, guitar brain, they are different brains. It's the same theory behind all of it, but just making sure your brain is cooperating with you at any given time, definitely a challenge. So I'm glad you're undertaking it, Terry. That's fun. Linda says, I'm doing fine between tenor, uke, and baritone. Oh, so Linda's killing it, right? No problem. Good for you. I think it's quite a challenge. So yeah, Cindy's killing it. Good. Thanks for being here, Cindy. Carol, doing good. I used to play fingerstyle guitar. I won't go back. Yeah, fingerstyle guitar. Again, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's worth it, worth the energy, but it isn't going to come to you like other instruments. Well, none of the big, piano doesn't come to you. Piano never comes to you. You have to always go get it from the piano. I think guitar on some level, not quite as bad as piano, has a tendency to be like, well, all right, let's try again. That's how guitars are. Baritones are like, oh, I love you. Yeah, you can have a lovely tune. Yeah, sure. You want to play Brahms? Yeah, I want to too. That's how baritones are. So yeah. And or ukuleles are like, what do you mean we're not playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow? Are you out of your mind? All right, guys, that's enough for today. Hope you guys are having a great day. Be safe, be safe, do good, practice. I'm going to get this where I'm smooth. Be safe, do good, practice, keep showing up, subscribe, and like. And that's it. Have a wonderful day. Hope you guys are having as nice of a day as we're having. All right, I'm going to end the stream. I will see all of you hopefully tomorrow. Vic, I'll probably see you in guitar. Evelyn, I think did I see Evelyn wandering? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't think she's doing baritone. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I will see you mañana.